Hi, and welcome back to another episode of my Unsolicited Advice. If I'm going to be totally honest with you, this is actually my third time recording this exact episode. I recorded this episode prior to doing a video, and then the very first video I recorded, which technically was recorded before the episode that's already been posted, was this topic. But I went back and watched it and just was like, I hate everything about that episode. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like what I was saying. It just like wasn't a good vibe. So ultimately I was like, that's show business. Take three, I guess. Let's do this. So here we are again, recording this topic that, I shouldn't even have told you guys because you wouldn't even have known. I have talked about this topic multiple times now. I hope that I cover all of the things that I want to say. We're back for another episode. It's a solo episode, as you can see. I really, really am working on getting guests. I want to talk to people who have cool jobs, work in cool industries, my friends, people who have a story, people who have things to say. Obviously, I want this podcast to be a show that provides some sort of knowledge or ultimately piece of advice for those listening. So I obviously value any person that chooses or volunteers to come on this show, but I want to bring value to the listener, you guys. And so I'm trying to be meticulous and selective, and I don't know. I don't just want to bring, and I love my friends and anyone who's volunteering to come on. I completely appreciate you more than you know, and I will take you up on your offer because that day will come. But I want my first few episodes back to be with people who, I don't know, are outside of the box. I'm working on it. Be patient. It's coming. Anyways, let's jump into this episode because, like I said, solo episodes equals bite size, which means we've got 30 minutes together. So I will not waste another second. I really do feel a hint of passion towards this topic because honestly, when I started to really rework my mindset around it and believe that this is true, honestly, I think it changed something within me. And that mindset is that rejection is redirection. Coming from a girl who has experienced rejection in all senses, all possibilities of feeling rejection, whether it's from another person romantically, platonically, professionally, jobs, any way one can feel rejection, I have to assume I have probably experienced it. Probably most people have. This is not a unique experience. Naturally, as a young person or, a young female in particular who experiences rejection, ultimately it goes directly to your ego, and then you lose self-confidence and you take it personally and your feelings are hurt. And after repeat offense over and over and over of experiencing rejection, it got to the point where I just was like, all right, I can't keep taking this personally. And also, like, if I let this rock me and the way that I keep going about my life, I will never recover. Like, it will never be good. So when I started really taking the mindset of rejection as redirection, it honestly helped me take that rejection face value for what it was immediately in the moment, and then just be like, okay, listen, that wasn't meant to be. Because truthfully, like, and I think I've said this either in a previous episode or the last one, to the people who know me personally, like, I'm a bit of a woo-woo person. I like astrology. I'm spiritual. I believe in so many of like the woo-woo things. I like the tarot card readings on TikTok. But like, I truly do believe, for myself at least, that everything happens for a reason. That doesn't mean that we always know what that reason is, and I don't necessarily think that our life is written out for us, like it's guaranteed what the next thing it's going to happen. I believe in the butterfly effect, that like every choice you make alters and changes what's next and what's going to happen in the future, whether it's regarding you or the people around you, the world around you. But when you get rejected, obviously immediately you're like, ugh, like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? And like, those are good things to think about, like in the sense of like, what could I have done better? It's like constructive criticism. Ultimately, I think thinking about it as like, this happened for a reason. You take it for what it is, and you think to yourself, something better is coming. I didn't get what I thought I really wanted, because what you actually needed and deserved and what you're gonna get is on its way. It is coming to you. Just the thing that you thought you really wanted, it wasn't right. And you don't know that it's wrong when you want it so bad. But the universe, or even the people who are doing the rejecting, know that it wasn't right. It wasn't right. And you have to just trust that those things happen for a reason. I wanted to talk about this because I think, honestly, there's a lot of people I know, or I assume are out there, that truly are how I used to be and really take rejection to the heart and take it quite personally. And truthfully, I think that is detrimental to not only your mental health, but your self-worth and your confidence and all of the things that you need to stay strong and believe in yourself for the path that you're going down. If I'm going to be honest, I think that I experienced rejection probably in the truest form at the youngest age, from, I guess, quote unquote romantically, just from like crushes or boys that I liked who didn't like me back. That experience in your formative years definitely takes a toll on a young girl's confidence. And I think I've said it before, at least to the people in my life, that who I am today is not who I've always been. I am the best version of myself in this moment because of how much work I've done for myself, or I've done to gain the confidence that I do have. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't knocked down significantly as a child when all the boys I liked never liked me back. Which, you know what, that's not what this episode is exclusively about. However, I do have a few little stories or, trains of thought on that topic that I want to share, because honestly, I think it's beneficial to someone somewhere. Like, genuinely, like, I'm mini tangent here. The only reason I have this podcast is because I truly do think that at least one thing I say at some point on this podcast in general, I think hopefully will benefit someone somewhere. And honestly, that is all I want to do. I can't even think about what could happen down the line in the future. I genuinely just hope that one thing that comes out of my mouth at some point helps someone. So that's why I choose to share these anecdotes, these thoughts, these experiences on the internet with a mysterious amount of people who I'm unsure who you are, who's watching and listening, but I appreciate that you're doing so. But I just truly think that something I say hopefully somewhere is gonna help someone. Anyways, mini tangent over. On to the rejection and the, me being a teen and liking boys who didn't like me back. In my previous 2 versions of recording this episode, the very first time I recorded this episode, it was audio only, and I think honestly I made an hour-long episode. Something that I did in that episode, which will never see the light of day, was play a voice recording that I have in my phone that I made probably sometime within the last year. I'm not sure when I made it, of like a late night thought of me thinking about all of the people who I had crushes on when I was in high school, and hypothetically thinking about where my life would be today, like if something did happen between us. And it honestly kind of was a little bit of like comedic relief for myself. Truly, rejection is just redirection repeated over and over in my head, because thinking about who I would be now, or where I would be, or what I would be like if something would have ever happened with any of those people. And this is not to say, like, this isn't like shade or, saying anything negative about the people that I had crushes on back in the day. Like, it's really so surface level. It's not that deep at all. However, I naturally, as anyone does, sometimes think about, where are these people today? Let's go look. And you go back and you see just like where they are, or what they're doing, or who they're now dating or married to. And you just simply, you as in me, I simply sit and I think, and I'm like, honestly, good for them. That wasn't the life path I was meant to be on. And who knows, if I would have potentially dated any of those people, I maybe wouldn't have gone to the college I went to. I maybe wouldn't be living in LA right now. I maybe wouldn't be here right now with you. To think that is crazy. And that doesn't mean my life maybe wouldn't have been better. But like, why think of what could have been when we're currently living in what is happening, what is gonna be, I guess. And I don't know, it was just such a fascinating thought. In that previous version of this episode, I played it for you to listen to, and I was name dropping left and right. So that is why that is never going to see the light of day, because one, too much editing for little old me. Not like I couldn't do it, but I don't want to. And two, it just would have been a little bit too putting it all out on the internet. And I'm not saying I'm afraid of doing that. I just simply, for the sake of the people who actually know me personally, I'm just going to choose against that. That was just like, I don't know. It was just such a funny thought to have. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be related to boys I liked in high school. It could go down any avenue, any path. Like every single time I've been rejected from something or someone in my life, it has led me to this very moment right here, right now. So I just simply have to be grateful because I like where I am right now. Obviously, there's so much unknown, and I'm simply just trying to figure out what's right for me and where this life is going to take me. And yeah, there could have been so many things that those things that I was rejected from could have changed the trajectory of my life completely for the better or worse. I don't know. It's just when you start to think about it so much, it really just becomes like, why are we even thinking about this? Because it's not what's reality. You just have to trust. I just have to trust that those things happened for the greater good of where my life is supposed to go. And that's that on that. I kind of was gonna go through a little bit of like just like dating in general, but honestly, I have beat this horse dead, and dating is hard. Dating in LA is even harder. I don't really want to go down that tangent right now. I'm sure it's inevitable. There will be another episode at some point where I talk about it. I do have one funny story, funny now, not funny when it happened, that I want to share with the world. Because true story, this happened to me 6 months ago. I only told my very close people. My parents don't even know this story. I'm planning on telling them before this hits the internet, because honestly, I didn't want them to ever know about this, because I truly think it would break their hearts, but it's simply not that deep, and we've moved past it and we can laugh about it now. The day that this happened, told everyone that I know, and was very heated and passionate about it in the moment, because I was just very like shocked that this happened, dumbfounded, like how could this have happened to me? Very heated in the moment. And I have a video of me retelling this story that I posted on like my close friends on Instagram. That may see the light of day on TikTok, so keep your eyes out for that. But basically, long story short, because I really am truly going to keep it short for you guys, because I can't retell this story another time. Basically, I matched with this guy on Bumble. We talked for like a week or so, trying to do the whole like small talk, get to know each other, try to make plans to meet. This goes without saying, but I am a relatively simple, natural girl in the sense that like obviously, like, I love to do my hair and makeup. I love to dress up and look cute. My dating app profile is very, like, just cute pics of me. Like, simple things you would see on my Instagram, obviously. I don't edit my photos. I hate that I even have to say that. But I genuinely, what you see is what you get, in my perspective. There's a purpose for me saying this. I'm going to continue. I end up scheduling a date with this guy. He was, like, still so, like, in grad school or something or other, and so he has like a school schedule, so during the week was tough, whatever. And I was like, what about a Sunday late morning afternoon coffee? And he was like, what about a Sunday happy hour? And I was like, sure, love a drink, let's do it. We go to a sports bar because I don't know, I'm chill, I'm cool, whatever. I make a joke. I have to preface it now because I've said it so many times that I feel like I am insane. But I make a joke where I'm like, I don't know, I'm a cool girl who likes sports. Sure, I'll go to a sports bar on a Sunday for a date. Terrible. Girls, don't do it. Bad. That actually has nothing to do with the date. The venue is not a problem in the story. However, I do still stand by that was probably not my smartest decision. Anyways, we make these plans. It's a Sunday afternoon, okay? I'm not going all out. I'm wearing like a black long sleeve. It's winter in LA, jeans and sneakers, sunglasses. It's a beautiful sunny day. I'm giving you these details because I do feel it's important to the story. I drive to this date because it's Sunday afternoon. I'm not going to, do anything crazy, maybe one drink. He also is driving. I park close by. I walk over. I text him, hey, just got here. He's like, okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I grab us a little table outside. Waitress comes over. She's like, do you want to get a drink while you're waiting for whoever's coming? And I was like, no, it's okay. I'll wait for them. Hindsight, should have gotten the drink. I'm waiting there for like 5 minutes. He texts me, hey, I'm walking over. I'm like, great. I'm just like on my phone, scrolling through Instagram, sunglasses on, looking down, sitting at a high top table, waiting. I'm looking around, wondering when he's walking over, whatever. Finally, I look up, I see him, he's walking towards me. Immediate thought, okay, he's cute. That has to be my immediate thought, because when you're meeting a guy from the dating apps, you have no choice but to immediately clock, do they look like their profile? Are they cute? And will I stay at this date? These are important things I say now. Anyways, I'm continuing. Actually, pivot for 1 second. Regardless of what he looked like, I was going to stay at that date the entire time because I'm nice. I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, he walks over. I stand up. I give him a hug. I'm like, hi, like, it's so great to finally meet you, because we were talking for like a week. How are you? I go back to sit down. He looks at me and he's like, I'm all right. And I'm like staring at him with intention, concern. Oh, why just all right? And he's like, well, staring off into the distance, not making eye contact. He's like, I don't want to be mean. Narrator goes, and this is where he's about to be mean. He says, you don't look like your profile. And I literally, jaw drops. I'm like smiling because I'm in disbelief. I go, okay. And he was like, yeah, so I'm sorry for making you come over here, but I'm going to go. And he turns around and he walks away. He just walks away. I had no time to say anything. I had no time to react. I simply just let him walk away, because what else was I going to do? Now, hindsight, Olivia definitely wishes that I had at least some sort of reaction, defended myself, maybe, I don't know, said something. But truly, what I did in that moment, honestly, is I chuckled, looked around to the room to see if anyone else witnessed that interaction. There was a table of 2 guys next to me. I did almost look at them and say, did you guys just hear that? But I chose against it. I immediately was like, I need a drink. I go to the bar. Bar's too busy. I'm like, you know what? I'm overwhelmed. I'm leaving. I walk out. I call my friend. I end up going to my friend's apartment. We end up going to the casino. That's a story for another time. Not important. However, day turned around. I simply just laughed it off, because I was truly in disbelief that it took him literally 30 seconds to make that decision. He walked up, his decision was made, he was gone. Now, after me sitting with this for, 6 months, I've thought about it, and truly all my friends were like, you dodged a bullet. And I'm like, you're so right. Like, I guess I have to, at this point, just put myself in the guy's perspective. Like, sure, guys don't want to buy a girl a drink. I mean, I'm going to be honest, you can afford one drink and be a decent human being and just have a conversation. To judge someone so immediately off of what they look like is a crazy, crazy thing. However, you saved me time. You saved me any kind of emotions that I maybe would have felt after the date. You saved me from so many things. So ultimately, I guess all I can say is thanks. It was a crazy experience. Now, just so I can give some thoughts on the whole thing, never once did this rock my confidence. Never once did this make me second guess myself. Never once did I think maybe he's right. Never once did I question literally anything about who I am or what I look like. I literally left the house thinking I look awesome, and I left that date thinking I continued to still look awesome. Like, I literally went home. Well, I went to my friends and I went to go call every person I know to tell them the story. And I was looking in the mirror and literally was like, you're beautiful. Like, and I'm not sitting here, this is not an attention seeking story. I hate that I even have to say that, but like, that man will never ever rock my confidence. Okay. So that's that on that. I was reflecting and was like, if I was insecure, if I was a girl who simply just couldn't handle that situation, like, that could have brought someone to tears. And that guy should honestly check himself, because he should not be behaving that way. His mother would not be proud of him. Sorry, that's mean, but like, it's true. That's that story. So that was a really good life experience. And if anyone's wondering why it's so hard to date in LA, it's because those are the men we're dating. Sorry. Anyways, I would love to talk about career and professional life when it comes to rejection, because I have a few good anecdotes and stories that I think prove this to be true. Rejection simply is redirection, and it brings you to where you're supposed to be. When it comes to career and jobs, some people were put on this earth and they simply just they're unsure of what they're supposed to do with their life. Some people were born and they know exactly what they're supposed to do, and that's what they do, and they succeed in it, and that's super duper duper awesome. I'm jealous of you because I'm not one of those people. However, when you are someone who has an idea but you need to try things, I think you just need to remind yourself that if something isn't working, it's totally okay and normal to take it as a sign from the universe. At least this is what I do, that it's totally possible and maybe time to pivot into something different, into something maybe you feel more passionate about, or maybe just giving something else a try. I am currently in the journey of trying a bunch of things until something feels right. But let me tell you about 2 specific situations where I was rejected from something, but ultimately I think it was for the greater good of my life and for a reason, even if that reason is still relatively unclear. There was a company that I really wanted to work for. If you're someone close to me, you most likely know which one it is. I applied to work for it an undisclosed amount of time because I tried so many times, many different applications, many different job roles. Never, ever, ever got an opportunity to actually work at said company. However, there are so many things that have happened. This company is still thriving. Like, I support, good for them, proud of everything they've achieved. But there are so many things that I have seen or just heard or just ultimately have thought about in my personal life that I'm like, I think it was honestly for the better that I never worked for that company. I don't know what would have happened or, you know, what that life would have looked like. But I do think for me as an individual, it probably is for the best that I never ended up working there. That took many years to accept because I was so emotionally attached to work at this company because it was a company that I felt so strongly aligned with, which I do still feel that way, but I've just decided that it's no longer a company that I think would be the best fit for me. But that took so many years to realize that. And when I think about rejection as redirection, I have to just think that if I didn't get rejected from working at that company, it wouldn't have led me to all of the other amazing things that my life has brought me. My other jobs that I've worked, the people I've met through those jobs, my friends, literally the butterfly effect. That was one major one that I wanted to talk about. Second one, I'm not sure if I want to say the company name of this one because I guess it's not a bad thing, and truthfully, I don't think I'll ever have another opportunity to work for them again. But I interviewed for a dream company of mine, like vision board, top of the list, dream company, bucket list. I had imposter syndrome, never thought in a million years that I would have an opportunity to interview, let alone step into their office that I interviewed with. And honestly, I interviewed for a role that was beneath me. It was below the title that I had. It was definitely task-wise and responsibilities just simply below what I was capable of doing. However, I was going for it because I wanted to work at that company. I would literally do anything to have the opportunity to work at that company. I went through a phone interview with a recruiter, which went incredibly. He loved me. I loved him. I went through a Zoom interview with the boss, and then I got invited into the office for the final round of interview with the people that I would have been working for and like the managers who would have been my direct reports. So all of the interviews, honestly, truly, I think went really well. Like, I think they really liked me. I really liked them. I felt like it would have been a good fit during all of the interviews. After the final interview, I left their office, and honestly, I felt like I got along with everyone really well. But I got in my car and I had this really strong, weird, eerie gut feeling that I knew something just felt off. I wasn't sure what it was. I couldn't really read it in the moment. I literally drove home in silence. I didn't put music on. I didn't call my parents after. I didn't call any friend. I literally drove in silence for, I think, 15 minutes because I just was sitting and reflecting, being like, all right, now I'm at the point where if I get this offer, I need to decide, is it something I'm going to accept? Because you have to remember when going for jobs, and I know that this is a luxury. Not everyone has this opportunity all the time. And this is not something that happens for everyone, but we always forget that when we're interviewing for stuff, that we have to think that we're a good fit for the company just as much as the company seeing if we're a good fit for them. Do we like this job? Does this role sound like something we want to do? Just as much as this company looking to see if you're a good fit for the role. So when I left, I was like, okay, I know that there would be more money, so that's a plus. This is literally a company I've been dying to work for, so that's a plus. The role itself is like, not really great. I just like think it probably wouldn't be the best experience. Well, the job itself and being there and everything, like overall probably would have been awesome, but just like knowing my worth and what I want out of my career, I really did think that it was a step back, a major step back, not just like it's a title change. Like I think it would have been a major setback in my professional career. And I honestly thought that if I did get that job, I didn't know if I would last very long in it, simply because I felt like I was not going to grow at a rate that I wanted to grow at. Having that realization that the dream opportunity that I might have is not right and that I might want to turn down that offer was a very tough pill to swallow. Luckily, though, I didn't have to have that. I didn't have to have that conversation with myself, because when I got the call from them, I got a personal call from the recruiter to give me, feedback on the interview, which truthfully, like, chef's kiss to that recruiting team and the way that they hire their employees, because it was seamless and beautiful and I never had any like dying questions. They were super timely and I felt respected the entire time. So great job to that company. The reason I didn't get the job, according to them, is that they thought it would be a disservice to me in my professional career and that I was too experienced. However, if there was ever a role that I would fit into in a higher level, they would keep me in mind. To hear them say that, honestly, gave me so much self-validation, because I was like, I felt the same way. And yeah, it sucked because like to work at that company would have been a dream. But I think they knew that I knew I was above this role. And it probably would have been a disservice to the both of us if they gave me that job. Honestly, someone who was younger and needed more experience and was hungrier for it deserved that role. So like, whoever it went to, I'm glad it went to them. That truly was like a rejection is redirection wake-up call, because not only did I also think that that was the wrong move for me, but they thought it. And then months down the line, it's now led me to this very moment where I kind of ultimately realized that like, I don't know if anything of what I was doing was right. And which is why I stepped out of it completely. And now I'm here with you doing this, figuring out what my next steps in life are. Honestly, I'm like very happy right now. Obviously, I have a lot to figure out. If you're close to me, you know the nitty-gritty details of what's going on in my personal life. However, my happiness level is very high, and I'm very grateful to be saying that. And it took a lot of scary things and a lot of courage to get to this point. This is now a tangent that's not important to this topic, so I'm not going to continue. However, when you are rejected in life, just remind yourself that it is because the thing that is meant for you is on its way to you. It's coming. You haven't reached it yet. That person that rejected you, I'm sorry, they weren't your person. They know what's best for them. You know what's best for you. A crush is a lack of information. Don't ever forget that. That job that you really wanted that you didn't get, trust, it probably wasn't the right fit. They knew it. You didn't know it, but now you do. And what's next is going to be better. On to bigger and better. Just remind yourself that, because truly, rejection is redirecting you to the things that you're supposed to and meant to have in this life. I don't necessarily believe that the universe, or maybe the higher power that you believe in, has life literally written out like a book made for us. I don't believe that. But I do think that there's like a plan and like a rough draft, and that we all have, a greater purpose, a mission here in this life. At least I think I do. And I'm constantly trying to chase that feeling and figure out what it is. But every time that something doesn't go my way, I just have to remind myself that was not the path you're meant to go down. The path is coming, or you're still on it, and you just haven't reached that next step yet. If you're someone who also is just like always trying to figure out what is right for you and what you want. Just to get a little woo-woo on you. An affirmation that I like to repeat to myself is, I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. I don't really need to elaborate on that any further. I think that we should all just practice that and repeat it. And when you repeat it, you start to realize that like things just start happening for you. That doesn't mean that you're not putting in the work. Like, putting in the work is majority of what you have to do in order to get things in life, obviously. However, sometimes things just kind of fall in your lap and you feel really lucky. Not always, but when you have that mindset, an abundance mindset, an open mind, a welcoming energy to all the things and possibilities, usually that's when the universe rewards you. And honestly, I think I might leave you with that. I don't know if take 3 of this episode was as effective as take 1 or 2. I do know that take 1 and 2 were both simply not up to my expectations or standards, and I need to not be so nitpicky on it. However, I have every right to be, because this is my podcast. But this I feel good about. I also wanted to say, sitting on this couch with my cozy blankie, absolutely, I'm wearing sweatpants as well. Like, the cozy fun vibe is what is to be expected from this podcast. I do think down the line when I have guests, I will be absolutely welcoming them to my apartment if they are willing to come over, and it will be this vibe. I'm really giving you an inside scoop into my brain, which you do not need or probably care about. This little cozy corner that I've set up, I'm loving it. I was so proud of what I released, and the feedback has been so positive and reassuring to my last episode that I came out with. So thank you all for watching and listening. Truly means the world. I said that I had no idea how consistent I was going to be able to be, but I promised that there would be more episodes. Here is your next episode. Thank you for watching and listening this whole way through. If you did, I'm not even going to give you the spiel at the end. You know what to do. If you had a good time, if you enjoyed it, let me know. That's all I have to say. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever time it may be that you're listening. And if you watch this on YouTube, okay, I am going to do it. If you watch this on YouTube, let me know. Like, you don't have to leave a comment. Maybe just like let me know. Ideally, if you could all start listening on Spotify as well, that would be really incredible and the best way to watch and listen. However, if you don't have Spotify, I totally get it. YouTube and Apple Podcasts is like totally fine, or whatever podcast platform you listen to. I assume it's one of the big 3. Big 3, yeah. I'm an astrology girly. Okay, enough with the rambling. It's what I'm good at. Thank you so much for listening. Love you all. And with that being said, this is my unsolicited advice.